Okay, this is the review session for Ms. Turner's AP Psychology, Sensation, Perception, and States of Consciousness unit. There will be 39 multiple choice questions, with a few of those being review from our previous units, 2 FRQs for which you'll have 50 minutes, just like always, and never a bad idea to provide a definition when you're doing those FRQs, even if you're not asked for one. Couple good links on the website, for the Linmar website, for me, the mouse party with the mice and being on the different drugs, very good review of the brain as well. The trichromatic color vision, where you're squirting somebody in the eye with colors, and the signal detection practice, which is part of the absolute threshold. Sensation process, starting with psychophysics, where we try to measure this entire process, these very small parts. Remember, there are 4 steps. We've got to cross the threshold, go to the receptor cells where transduction takes place and takes it to the brain. There are 2 types of thresholds, absolute indifference, the one affected by the signal detection theory, as I just mentioned, is the absolute threshold. The one for difference threshold is Weber's law, or Weber's law for pronouncing it like they would in Germany. If you're not sure what those are, go back and look them up. You need to know them. Sensory adaptation, where we get used to things like touch, our clothes on our bodies. In which sense is it not wanted? That would be vision. We want those eyes to quiver just a little bit, or else we'll hallucinate. And transduction, we did the whole squeeze activity, and so look back at those notes, and it's what you talked about as far as what either speeds up transduction or slows it down. Parallel processing is unconscious, and make sure that you are familiar with that. That would be, my best example of that is in the book, the picture looking at the bird, where you see not only the color but the depth and motion and that sort of thing at the same time. And feature detectors, those are for the sense of sight. They are located in the back of the brain, in the occipital lobe, and they notice different features, things like angles, lines, corners, that sort of thing, only found in vision. You do need to know the anatomy of the senses as far as how they work. No, there won't be diagrams on this test, but make sure that you can at least think them out, or even draw them in the corner of the test if you need to. Binder page 8 is where they are. Receptor sites for each sense. Got to know that. You might see a question about like foveal versus peripheral vision, or foveal sight. So fovea, we know, is that center spot within the retina where we focus things and see things in color, and it's much more clear. Peripheral vision is in black and whites. That comes through the rods located on the outside of the eye. Sensory interaction. How does smell affect taste? How does sight affects balance? That's important to know. Accommodation, much like habituation. If we accommodate to things, what does that mean as far as changing the lens in our eyes? The basilar membrane is in the cochlea within the ear, and that's where the little tiny hairs are. Pheromones is within smell. Semicircular canals, even though they're in the ears, they are not used for hearing. They are part of balance. Our internal senses. Balance is known as the vestibular sense, and kinesthesis is the idea of body position and coordination. Make sure you are familiar with what these do. The Young-Helmholtz theory of color vision. The opponent process theory, we're looking at this particularly again with color vision, although it does relate to other things. Gate control theory, this deals with pain, that would be in our sense of touch. And place versus frequency theory of hearing, along with the volley principle. Those are some very picky things, but you need to know. They're not hard, they're just picky. And then finally, visual capture. When our senses compete, then we know that vision wins out. Perception, Well, this is where the brain takes over. Sometimes that's hard to draw the line there, but this is where our interpretation begins. First, we have to select what we're going to pay attention to. Do I pay attention to the phone that's vibrating as it sits in my lap, or do I pay attention to what Miss Turner's saying in class? We think we can divide our attention. We're not very good at that. We're not good at multitasking, although there's some things that make it easier. Selective attention, we're good at focusing when we need to, or when we're motivated to, when we want to. Organization, excuse me, we have different aspects to that. We have depth perception. We have both the binocular and monocular, 2 eyes versus 1 eye. Many more monocular cues than binocular cues, so make sure you can name and recognize those. We have our motion perception, and there's only 2 types there, the phi phenomenon and the stroboscopic effect, so make sure you know the difference between those. Constancy, meaning that even if something changes in the retina of our eye, we know it still holds constant overall, like color and size. And then form perception. This relates, the other 3 only related to vision. Form perception, those Gestalt principles, those relate to all of the senses for organizing them. Interpretation, there's a lot of different ways to interpret things. New study on obesity looks for larger test group. Get it? Larger has 2 different meanings. We can interpret it to make it funny. Ha ha ha. We have our perceptual set. What are we expecting? And that is impacted by the context, what's around it. Expectations, culture, frames of reference. And make sure, you know, we've got a lot of examples that we did in class and are in your binder, so make sure that you can look for those. A little bit on ESP, just make sure you know what type of ESP, what it really means. If Julie reads my mind saying that I was saying what I was thinking, not that I was thinking, that we should eat someplace new, that she's using telepathy. Paul knew his grandmother's house was on fire from 2 states away. That's clairvoyance, that distant viewing. Could Nostradamus really see the future, see ahead in time? That's precognition. And students wish they could levitate papers from the front table so they don't have to get up from their desks. That would be psychokinesis. So just make sure you know which is which. States of consciousness then was the next part, and we had 3 different areas with that: sleep and dreams, and hypnosis and drugs were the 3 areas. So make sure, first of all, we had to go over this, but what are the properties of a conscious state? There are 7 of them that we've talked about. Make sure you can list at least 5. You know, I'm aware of what's going on around me, I can communicate, and so forth. Biorhythms. Different types, like circadian rhythm is one type of biorhythm. We have monthly, yearly, daily, 24-hour biorhythm, so make sure you can name those. Lots of information on sleep. There's a great review in your binder, so make sure that if you want to practice this, you can say why these myths are untrue. And we have the functions of sleep, we have the stages of sleep, and we have the 4 disorders as well. So make sure that you know all of those. With far as dreams go, we have lucid dreams when you are aware that you're dreaming. We have nightmares that occur again during that REM sleep. We have theories about why we dream. Okay, people have different thoughts. We have Freud's ideas that dreams are those road to the unconscious with both the manifest and latent content. We have other theories about information processing, how this is our brain being very active while we're sleeping and getting through the day's information. Active synthesis that says our brain's being active and we're just trying to make sense out of it. And also maturation, that we dream just because our brain is fixing things. It has no interpretation needed, and that's why babies spend a lot more time dreaming than everybody else. This is the sleep cycle. A couple things to keep in mind here, that this deep sleep here, particularly stage 4, gets shorter as the night and then disappears as the night goes on. REM sleep gets a little bit longer as the night goes on. We typically go through this 4 times a night on a normal sleep-wake schedule. And then states of consciousness, hypnosis, two kind of big theories with that. Is it truly divided consciousness, or are we more playing a role? Is it social influence? What is it good for? What is it not good for? Will it help me stop smoking? Will it help me lose weight? Will it help bring back my memories? Will it help distract me from pain? Those are all things you should be able to answer. Well, same thing there. Post-hypnotic suggestion, what is it? What is it good for? What can we use it for? The last is drugs in the states of consciousness. Certainly we have physical and psychological addiction. Make sure you know the different areas, stimulants, depressants, opiates and hallucinogens, and then what goes in within those categories. And what kind of effect does alcohol have on memory? That state-dependent memory plays a role there. And finally, the practice essay. What are the big parts of the concepts that you can apply to ... So if you are planning, if you're if you're studying for a test, what are the different parts of sensation and the sensory process that you could think of that could deal with applying for a test or studying for a test? How about attention, form perception, interpretation? So I'm not giving you the specifics. You just have to look through your notes and say, how could this apply to studying for a test? How can studying be impaired by lack of sleep and by drugs? What's the role, again, of of hypnosis in studying? Boy, wouldn't that be nice if I could just have a whole class and hypnotize you and make you do really well on the exams. I would love that. And then just random, make sure you do review the difference between random assignment and random sampling. So getting is the sampling, assigning them to the groups is the assignment. And then statistical significance. Don't ever want you to forget that magic number of 0.05. If it's lower than that, it's not due to chance. That's it.